You never finished lower than fourth in any event. Is that unusual? Because to me, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, in past meets, it's kind of been, back and forth between the different events. But outdoor this year, there were a lot less competitors than there had been in the past. There was only, I think, 8 total. In indoor, I think there was close to 15. So almost half the competitors weren't even there this year. And yeah, as far as placing goes, that was pretty surprising. Some of the events, like the long jump and the 100, after those 2 events, I was not as confident as I had been going into the meet. I finished like 4th, I think, in the long jump, and in the 100 I finished 3rd or 4th, and that put me back in a pretty big deficit. It put me about 160 points back, which is a pretty big hole. But going into the next events, I kind of surprised myself. I came back in the high jump and ended up making up pretty much all of those points. I did my second best that I've ever done in high jump. I went 6'3". So that was really exciting. My team had just showed up right when I was doing high jump, so they were cheering me on, and I was just in a rhythm, and that was really an awesome experience.
In the high jump, for instance, how many attempts do you get?
You get 3 attempts per height.
Okay, per height.
And if you clear it, you just move up to the next one and you keep going.
Okay. How about the rest of the events?
The rest of the events ended with the 400, and I ended up finishing 2nd place in that, behind the my main competitor in the decathlon. We kind of battled back and forth the first day. He ended up being about 20 points ahead of me after the first day, which is right where I wanted to be. I wanted to be either leading by a little bit or, right behind him after the first day. Going into the second day, knowing that that's my stronger day, I was confident that I could.
So as long as you were close.
Yeah,
there.
As long as I was close, I was confident that I could pull it out the second day. But
what were the events on the second day compared to the first?
On the second day, we start out with the 110 hurdles, which has been one of my stronger events in the past, and I ended up winning that event. The next one is the Discus, which I did a mock decathlon the week previous to conference because I had yet to do one yet, and that's kind of the only way to train for a decathlon is to actually do one or do all the individual events in a regular meet. But sometimes they overlap, so you don't get to do all of them. So going into the Discus, I was a little worried, but I ended up throwing really well, and I had a PR in that event. And then next it was the pole vault, which my coach knew going into that once that guy that I had been competing with went out at like 12:11, I think is what it was, and I cleared the next height, that we were sitting pretty going into the javelin in the 1500. So that's kind of how it wrapped up.
How did the javelin and the 15 go?
The javelin went okay. I didn't throw my best, but everybody wasn't throwing what they normally would. I don't know if it was the track surface or the wind conditions or what, but the air was really humid. Maybe that had an effect, but we're not really sure.
After one day of that, are you tired? What was your feeling going into Saturday?
Going into Saturday, everybody's a little bit sore, and the nature of the beast, the decathlon starts early every day because we have to get finished before the actual track meet begins. So the meet doesn't end up going till 10 o'clock at night. So, and kind of my goal going into the 1500 was to be ahead by enough points that I didn't have to run it hard.
Was that true?
Because in the past, I had always had to run the 1500 just as hard as I could because it always come down to that last event, and it was a really close race, and I ended up being able to run it pretty easy. It was kind of like a victory lap for me, so I really enjoyed that, and that was kind of my motivation. Going into day 2, I wanted to be able to, run the 1500 nice and easy and kind of save myself for the 4x4. So
it's amazing to me you didn't actually have a meet to compete in a decathlon until the conference, and yet you win it. Does that amaze you at all?
Yeah, it kind of surprises me a little bit. I just kind of do every event just kind of here and there throughout the season, so I kind of know where I'm at, but until I actually get to the meet, I don't know, how I'm going to perform in every event. So, going to the 100 and the long jump, after those two events, it's kind of a mind game, because you can do bad in 2 events and then good in 8, and you end up finishing on top, and that's kind of what happened. I hadn't practiced the long jump a whole lot, and that wasn't one of my better jumps. I didn't get a really great jump in, and that kind of hurt my score, but I made up for it later on. So,
why the decathlon? Why do you run that particular or those particular events?
Yeah, well, my freshman year, coming into Jewell, I was a 400, 800, high jump, and triple jump guy, and our track team being as small as it was, Coach Ted Graves was my coach for my freshman year, and then Coach Tom Eisenhower came in my sophomore year and been there my junior and senior. But when I came in as a freshman, those were my main events. So our team being small, he would put me in like 4 to 5 events in the track meet, and I wouldn't be specified for one event. So I would do mediocre in all those events, not finishing towards the bottom of the pack, but not finishing towards the top. So that was kind of frustrating on my part, because I couldn't focus on one event. I was kind of decent at 3 or 4 or 5. So then we kind of brainstormed and said, well, do you want to focus on one event, or, maybe you can try the decathlon? And I thought, that would be awesome, just to give that a shot. There were a few things that I had to learn, like pole vault. I'd never done that before. I'd never hurdled before. I had never done discus or shot put or javelin. But as far as the other events go, I was experienced at long jump, triple jump, high jump. All the jumps and the running events weren't hard for me. So,
Michaela Miller.
We know you proposed the Gorley Open here, and that in the future you're getting married. What else does the future have in store for you?
Shortly after graduation, I will be starting a physical therapy program at Rockhurst University, starting in beginning of June. And that's a 3-year program. It's 9 semesters straight through. So that's what I'll be doing for the next 3 years. And we plan to get married the summer before my senior year at Rockhurst. So that's the plan as of now. And then post-graduate school, plan to get a job either here in Kansas City, or I would like to possibly travel in the future, but we'll figure that out when we get there.
Graduation day, what do you think will be going through your mind as you walk across the stage?
Relief. It's been a long haul. It's been a busy 4 years, that's for sure. With track, and then my biology major is not easy. I'm also involved in a fraternity, and there's things going on all the time. It's just, a very busy lifestyle. And
is winning the GLVC the highlight of your Jewell years?
I would say last year, as far as track goes, last year was my kind of the highlight. I got to go to the NAIA Nationals and compete both indoor and outdoor, and I ended up getting All-American outdoor, and that was kind of my highlight. That was my main goal going into my junior year, was to be an All-American in either indoor or outdoor, knowing that I wouldn't be able to compete once we transitioned to D2 at the national level. So, but this year is definitely, it's definitely a highlight in my career. Conference champ, indoor and outdoor, and I'm graduating, and I got proposed. So there's just a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's been really fun so far.